Hello everyone. Hello everyone and you're welcome. In today's tutorial, I'll just show you how you can create this simple water dripping tutorial using OpenToonz. So if this is the first time using OpenToonz, don't worry, I'll show you how everything works and how you can get setting up a animation like this. So to begin, what I'm going to do is to create a new scene. So I'll just go ahead and say file and let's just say new scene. And I'm just going to save that scene here and I'll just call that dripping tutorial. And I don't think that's fair. That's not fair because usually when you open up OpenToonz, you're supposed to create a project. So what I'll do is just start this from scratch. So I'll just go to file, or I'll just turn this off and just start OpenToonz, just so we can be on the same page when it's opening up. I think that's the best way to start up this tutorial. So just give me a few seconds here for it to load and it's done. Good. So this is what you'll see when you open up OpenToonz. You have this quick startup section. And what I want you to do is to click on new project. And here on the project name, I'll just call it water dripping tutorial and I'll click OK. So this is going to open up a new project. Now it wants us to create a scene, and our scene in OpenToonz is going to contain all our drawings, our sketches, and all our artwork that are grouped into layers. So that's how the project is going to be. So let's click on this new scene, and this new scene, I'm going to call it drips_01. I'll leave everything in the default settings, and I'll click on create scene. So now we have a scene. To begin to create artwork, we need to create levels, and levels are similar to layers in case you're coming in from another language, another software like Photoshop or Procreate and all that. So this is how you can create your levels. So over here, you can actually see levels. We can go to new, and you can create a Toonz raster level, a vector level, or a raster level. So a raster level just simply means you're creating a pixel level, not pixel art, just a pixel level like in your default painting applications. So your vector level is like using Illustrator. You can resize and you're not going to lose your quality. And your Toonz raster level is a specialized built-in raster or drawing level that's saved into OpenToonz. If you need to understand what levels are, if you click on help and click on the online manual, this will open up a manual like right here, and just right here you can scroll and go to working with levels, and you can always read up on what levels are and how you can find additional information about the software. So just remember, the help is there. So the first thing we're going to see here is we have a large view like so, and in case it's zoomed out just like mine here, just right click and go to reset view and hit on that, or you can use Alt-0 to reset your view. You can also zoom in by hitting the plus icon here and then zoom out by zooming out. Now you notice you don't have this dotted margin and red dotted lines here. This is just showing us the save zones. In case you draw anything here, it's going to be rendered, and if it's out there, is likely chance it's not going to be finally rendered, and you can't really see this animation. So and that's just here. I'm just clicking this icon right here to indicate those save zones. So to draw, what we need to do is to create our level, and I'll create a raster level right here. So I'll click on this and we have a raster level. I'll call that sketch and hit OK. So here we have the level name. So I'll just call that sketch and just hit the return key. And once we've done that, what I want you to do is head over here to raster, click on that, and you can see a series of built-in and default brushes, erasers, ink pens, some texture brushes, some crayon. Basically, you can use this to create your background, and you can actually see some samples of what these actually do. I like using this one So if you click on it, you'll not be able to draw. You won't draw anything, but click on the brush tool here, and if you would drag that, you can actually see you can begin to create sketches. I think I like the sketch B, and once you just drag that, you can see that as well. And you also have the ink, and you can use the ink to create your designs over here too, like so. So these are the three basic brushes you have. You can always create your sketches, create artwork, create your art that you can use to animate. Once you're done, you can create another level with more precision, and let's just do that. So here I'll just create I believe this is the vector level. So once you hover your mouse over it, it's going to create a vector level, and I'll call that detail. I'll hit OK, and here I'll just call this detail as well. So these are going to be your tables. Basically, if you like in traditional animation, this is going to be your base sheet, and then you can start adding drawings on each frame on top, which brings us to our timeline right here. So I have a sketch layer and I have a detail layer, and say for instance I want to draw a ground level. So I have a ground level here, and let's just do a very basic and simple tap sketch. So I'll just do something like this, and this is going to be, let's say, our pipeline here, and this is going to be our pipe head right here. Very, very simple, nothing too basic, nothing too scary rather. So I'll just extend this to the ground level, and this is our initial sketch. So I can lock this layer now and just have it locked and say this is my ground level and this is my sketch. Now on top of it, I can now start drawing and adding more dark lines here, so I can get those details. I can be more precise. I can add more shape and form like so. Just do this, and I can just drag this and drag it over here as well. So this is my base. But you can see if I change this frame, which means this is going to be stuck here on the base level. So I need to extend this design to the number of frames I want in animation. So basically an animation frame simply means here, if I move to this frame and let me unlock the detail, and I just draw anything here and go to the next frame and draw anything, go to the next frame, draw stuff, the next frame, draw some more like so, and draw another one. If I hit on this loop, you can actually see we're looping between the content we've actually drawn. So I'll head over and hit on the eraser tool, and I can use the arrow key to move between frames. So I'll go to frame 2 and I'll set the eraser size. You can see the size right here. I'll drag this and then I'll just erase this guy, this one, this one, this large one, and this one. I guess that's the last one we created, like so. So how do we make this frame stay where it is? So to do that, head over to, oops, sorry about that guys. To do that, head over to animation and make sure you've unlocked these two levels, the sketch and the detail, because I want them to remain. And what I want to do is to extend this drawing. So I want to extend these two drawings and hold them. So to do that, just click and drag this to say 40, and we'll go back up and click on this and just drag this same one here to say 40 as well. We can just get rid of these and just hit delete to get rid of that, and we can save this. So basically what's going to happen is if I go back, and I can even just press play here, and you can actually see that we're actually, if we hit on loop, each of those frames is going to contain the drawing. So if I get back to my drawing layer here, I think I set this at 42. So if we hit on loop, you can actually see we're looping, and each of those drawings are there. We've just extended our background. So let's pause this and let's go back and do the animation properly now. So to get this center point, I'll create a vertical guide. So I did that by just clicking on this ruler section. If you want to create a horizontal guide, just go over here. Sorry guys, just go over here and just drag this and you have your horizontal guide. And I'll just zoom in one level so I can clearly see what I'm doing. So here I'm going to lock this section here and I'll lock this one and I'll create a new layer for my animation. So I'll click a vector level. I'll just call that anim and hit OK. And I'll just call this column anim. So I've locked my sketch and my pipe layer like so. And now I have an animation layer, and this is where I'm going to be creating the, frame by frame animation. So let's begin. So first I'll just drag this over here and make this slightly, let's just try something really flat like so. So if I hit the right arrow key, I'm not seeing the last drawing I drew. So hit the right arrow key on frame 2 and then go over here where you see this yellow dot, click on that and click on the next one. So basically what's happening is I'm on frame 2 right now, and this is red because it's showing us the previous frame. That's what this means. And so with that, I can start slowly easing this drop out of this pipe. And to do that, the next frame, I'll just drag this, press the right key, drag this again, hit the right arrow key, drag this, and I'll just keep bringing it closer and making it look like a teardrop, bringing it closer like so, and I'll just drag this till I have a long, nice teardrop like so. So if you see any line that's green, it means that's the animation in front of it. So here at frame 1, we can't see the previous animation because there's no previous animation, but at frame 2, we can see frame 1 and frame 3. Now, because I have the fourth one, if I click on this, oops, I can see the next two animations. But personally, I just like leaving it at the previous and the future frame. So here on frame, I believe it's frame 7, we can actually see our, we can get rid of this, like so, and we can actually see our drawing. So we don't have anything here. So on frame 7, this is blank. So we can start moving our drop kind of like down like so. So I'll just start doing this. I believe that's slightly off center. So I'll just drag that because I don't have a wobbly animation. And I'll just start pushing this down. Now, the further the frames are further apart, it means this object is moving very fast. And the speed is going to be increasing based on the distance. So the further it is towards the ground, the faster this object is going to start moving. So it's going to ease out of the pipe and then finally start moving very fast till it goes to the ground. So here, I'm going to just start doing this. So and then from the center, I'll just drag this. Now I can even go close to the previous tip. And I'll just zoom out a little bit so you can see this and zoom in and use my hand tool. There you are. I just drag this over here. And then using the arrow key, excuse me. So using the arrow key, I'll get back to my brush. I'll just see what I'm at. So I'm here. So I'll just do this. And then to indicate it's moving super fast, going towards the ground. Oops. I don't like how I changed that shape right there. And now I'm going to say it's going to hit the ground. So when it hits the ground, it's going to stretch a little bit. So I'll just do one right here, one more before it touches the ground. And here it has touched the ground. So I'm going to do slightly stretched water droplet like so. And this point where it hits the ground, it's going to break out into like say 3 parts. So here, next what I'm going to do next is, sorry, my Wacom tablet is going crazy on me. Come on, don't do this, please, be nice. Okay, it's listened to me now. So here, I'm going to create one splash here, another splash here, and a smaller splash like so. I think that's... So now we'll choose one path. I'll just take the one on the left first, and I'll draw those frames, and I'll go back and draw the splash frames. So here I'll begin to extend this and say it's moving here, and it's moved here, and it's now hit the floor, and we have a little subsplash like so, and this first subsplash has jumped here, this other one has jumped, and it's going to get so small, so small. It's getting smaller and smaller until it disappears. So if you actually see this, I just move this real quick, and that has disappeared. So I'll go back now, and let's pick the middle splash, which is this one. And I'll do something like this, and do another one, and another one, and another one, another one, another one, and maybe another one like so. All right, so let's pick the last one, this one. So say, let's see here, and it's moved forward a bit, then here, then here, then here, like so, till it just disappears. So we just had these frames at 26 frames to do this animation. So I'll just drag this over here to 25, I believe, and we can hit the loop. And so we can actually see what we've done here. So I'll just zoom out a bit. So we have our little toop, 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 like that, you know. So yeah, so we've eased out of this animation. And basically what we're doing here is, let me just unlock this and create a new vector layer here on top. And what I'm doing is I'm going to draw the, sorry guys, the sequence of action here. So let's say, so I'll just drag this here and then use the hand tool. I'll just go to flip to view. So I just want to draw out the timeline for the animation, and just right here. So we are easing out gradually the first few frames. Then we start, you know, getting a bit faster, and then toward the end we also have faster frames. So basically that's it. So it's easing out of this pipe, and then it's scattering towards the end. And what's happening here is on frame 19, this is going to appear and disappear, because that's what if we set this to loop, we should see that in frame 19 disappearing. And that's not really cool. And in any of these views, you can actually play your animation and see what's happening here. So hopefully this is giving you an idea of how you can use OpenToonz. It's actually a very nice and interesting software package to create very nice animations. Really sorry about my my drawing skills. Terrible at the moment, but I believe if you take your little time, you'd actually be able to get more out of this. So again, we can even go to file, we can save this scene, and we're going to go to file and create a new scene, and we could just start animating straight ahead. So let's say on this column, we can say we have a ball here, and then I'll hit the right arrow key and then hit this section so we can see the previous one. So we have the ball easing out. So this is just a second example, which naturally it's not supposed to ease out here, but I'm just showing you that you can break any animation rule you want. And then right here, it starts going super fast because gravity is working now. It's pulling the ball to the ground. And I'm going to use our guide here as the bottom. So now, let's say it's here. So it has impacted the ground, so we add some stretching. So now it's going back up, so it's going to stretch back up. And we'll just do another one, another one, another one like so. And then at this point, it's begun to get its shape back, and then eases in like so, and then it starts falling down again, going faster. It's now hit the ground, so we have another stretch, and it's going back up. It's going back up again. Then we have it back to its normal shape. Is the highest point, so we have these few overlapping shapes close to each other. Now it's going back. It's back. It's hit the ground. It's gone slightly back up. It's simple overlap. Another overlap. Now it's hit the ground. No more energy. And now it's here. Now it's here. And now it's here. So let's go ahead, and hopefully we have not destroyed the world of animation here. And so you can actually see how this works. Now, to make this a bit easier, what I could have done is to, let's just call this animation. And what we could have done to make this super easy is right here, we could have created a path, and then we follow that path that specifies the number of bounces. Here's what I mean. And if I create a new level here, I'll just call this guide and hit the return key. So basically on this guide level, and say, let me just hide our level here. So on the, and lock this. So we are on our guide level. So I could just say, hey, it's going to start from here, and boink, 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 then boink, like so. And what we can do now is to go over here at the opacity, set it to like 49 for the guide, and we'll just lock this guide layer. Now we can create a new layer above it. Now we'll call that our ball. Now this is another method as well. And now what we can do is to go to over, let me just reset this view. So what we can do is to go over to our animation, and where we have this table here, I think we've locked it. So let's unlock. So that's our guide. So we go back to our animation, and we can just click on our guide and just drag this down to say 60 frames. And now we can go back to our drawing and then lock this. And then where we have our ball animation, we can now go back to frame, let's say frame 0. And then we can start creating our animation now with this guide. So what I can do is just start drawing the ball again, this time with a proper guide. So it's on frame 2. So we can just use this and go here, like so, like so, like so, like so. And then we can now start going out, like so, hitting the right arrow key. And then once it's starting to get close to the highest points, these shapes are going to be closer together. I can even add another in between, and then we can just start adding this going down. And then we've hit the ground here, and let's get back up, like so, closer, closer, a little spacing, a little spacing. You've hit the ground, you're going out now, closer, 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 a little spacing. We've hit the ground, you're going out, closer, closer. Okay, that's terrible one, but I'll just keep we have to fix this, or else we're going to have serious wobbling there. So I'll just go back here, click on this, and draw that properly, not be a lazy animator, and then drop this here, and then out, 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 till it comes to a stop right here. And what we can do right now is to set this to here, and this size to here, And what we can do is to hide this. I think, okay, we've hidden that layer, so we can play this. And we can actually set this to loop. And we can actually see how this is looping. So basically, that's how you can create a nice animation in OpenToonz. Thanks for watching.